Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and today we are going to stitch out the intermingled design from Pro Stitcher Patterns, available at prostitcher.com. Remember, when you shop there, ASF10 will save you an additional 10% off your purchase, your digital download of your designs. If you're part of the membership or not, you still get that 10%. So put it in there. The only thing that can happen is it doesn't work. Hey, whatever. I already have, I'm like talking this way, but my quilt's over here. My quilt is already loaded. It's already basted. I did everything. If you watched the last video, you already saw that I loaded it right after the first one I did. This is my second one. We're doing one right after the other. In the first video, we used a Bit Orange's design that was digitized specifically for this Dream Big Kaleidoscope panel. Remember, if you're going to purchase that one, Adam20 will save you 20% off that design. This design was not necessarily created for this panel per se. It was just a whole cloth design, but I think it's going to look fabulous, so we're going to find out. It might not. It might be better just whole clothy, but I don't know. We're going to go for it. I'm using Magnifico thread, same color that I used in the last quilt, and it is number 2165 sterling silver. Is that right? Stainless steel? It might be stainless steel. I think that sounds more like it. In my bobbins, we are running bottom line 623 silver, my favorite color. I have the huge cone of it, so I wound 2 bobbins. We're going to see if I can get through it with 2. There's a lot of detail in this pattern. I'm very excited. Like I said, this is from Pro Stitcher Patterns. I always open my whole cloth quilts in Pro Stitcher Designer before I bring it over to machine. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what it's going to look like. One of the great things about this one with Pro Stitcher Patterns, they've digitized it so you do it row by row. So I just need to set up row, like the center one. We're gonna center it. We're gonna be able to use that great feature, reposition 0, to get it centered perfectly on our quilt, and then we'll be able to advance and anti-advance and add the other 2 or the other 4 rows. There's a total of 5 rows, so this should go pretty quick. So I videotape this stuff and do the filming of this, so it takes me a little bit of time, but I think if I just sat down and loaded this up and stitch, I think we could be done in no time. There are a few jumps in the thing, so it doesn't, there are a few jumps in the pattern, so it's not going to just stitch left to right. I had my jumps turned off and I was like, oh my gosh, but then I don't know why I thought that it wasn't going to jump, because there are places where they don't connect, so there has to be a jump there. Like I said, everything's basted. We're ready to go. I'm going to bring you up close. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. And also, follow me on social media. Adam So Fun with an SEW, Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes on TikTok. I don't know. Maybe I'm in a TikTok part of this. How about that? So, yeah, without further ado, let's get over here. Oh, no. So I did open this in Pro Stitcher Designer. I did want to see how tall the biggest portion of my design is. This has the center section, which is row 3. It's the pink row. It is going to stitch out 14.5 inches tall. So if you don't have a throat space that can accommodate that, you might have a little bit of an issue. There are ways in Pro Stitcher Designer to chop it up a little bit, so you can make, maybe do an 11-inch piece like we're doing the rest of the time, and then there's 4 pieces, 4 like kind of cornerstones. You could take those out and stitch them separate. The problem is, on our side pieces, we have one arc that is a full 14.5 inches tall. That's going to be your problem. You could use a ruler. Maybe you're going to free motion those arcs in. The other option is to stitch everything except for your side pieces. And then when you get done, turn your quilt and just put those side pieces in. But it's going to, it'll probably be a little bit harder to line up because everything's not in the same place once you turn that quilt. But those are your options. You have Pro Stitcher Designer, you change those designs, you split pieces up, or you just have a throat space that can accommodate that 14.5 inches. I just want you to be aware, because I don't want you to go buy this. Or you just shrink it. You shrink it to 35 inches tall, and then now it fits your throat space. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but those are your options. I do want you to be aware that the tallest row is, I think, 14.46. You do get a roadmap. Pro Stitcher Patterns does tell you that the tallest row is row 3 at 14.6 and all that. So just so you know, I want you to be aware, because I don't want you to go buy stuff and then it not work for you. You know, I'm always honest, and I want you to get what works for you. I want you to be happy. So I'm going to bring you up close so we can see how to line this up. All right, here we are. Quilt is loaded. I have marked my center point. Again, it's a circle. So there is a little tiny mark right here. Just a little blue dot with the water-soluble pen. I probably don't even have to take it out because nobody's ever going to see it. So I am going to pop up to my Pro Stitcher screen. So I am running the most current version of Connect. I can go to my Pro Stitcher Patterns. Here's my screen. I can scroll up, buy designs. I could come in and buy this design right now if I wanted to, and if it was available. It's not available today as of the time I'm recording this because it comes out on the 1st of July. But I am running Pro Stitcher Patterns just so you can see that it's working. I have my settings for my machine. All right, so here are my current settings. I am stitching regulated 11 stitches per inch. I have my cruise set at 200. Remember, when we're running Pro Stitcher, you should always have your cruise on. My tension is set. Everything is good here. I am going to my main screen, my file tab. I need to pick up these designs. I did put them on a USB stick because they're not available for download yet. So I'm going to file design open. And I am on my D drive. So just in case you're using a USB stick, this is how you would find it. Let me get the window open how it would normally open. So you're gonna usually see something like this. You'd have your Pro Stitcher designs, and we'll say continuous line. Usually you're gonna see something like this when it opens. One of the things you'll notice with Connect, you now have My PS Patterns. When you download a file on your tablet with Connect, it sticks your patterns right here. So if I hit My PS Patterns, I did a Facebook Live and we were talking about this. This is the mini clam set I downloaded while I was on that live. So they're all right here. One of my favorite things, I don't have to find it. I know where it's getting saved. I need to go to my D drive. So I'm going to hit that C. You might see this when you are opening your Pro Stitcher designs. And if you want to get to one of those other drives, we got to scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll have a D or an E or a different letter. I have 2 USB sticks in there right now, and I think this is on E. No, I think it's on D. There we go. And this is going to be part of my Pro Stitcher Patterns file that I created myself on this USB stick, and these are my designs. We're going to start in the middle with pink. It's intermingled row 3 pink. And I know that because I looked at the directions. I'm going to hit open, and this is that first design. It is gorgeous. This is going to look so good when it's done. One of the things that our friends over at Pro Stitcher Patterns did is when this was digitized, they digitized it with the center of the design being at the center of their digitizing software. So like the 0, 0, the center is the very center of this design. So that's going to make it really easy for us to line this up with our panel itself. So we can see my crosshairs are over here. Remember, when we're in Pro Stitcher, we are the kings and queens of our Pro Stitcher universe. We don't go and try to move our machine to the center. We bring those designs. They are our subjects, and we are going to bring them to us. So what I'm going to do, because we have this option, I'm going to zoom out. I have my dot that I made. I had my pinpoint laser light. I'm going to move that laser light to my dot. There we go. Now when we go up to the screen, let me zoom in. We can see my crosshairs are way over here, the design's over there. I don't care where the design is. What I hit the screen with my finger. I don't care where the design is. I'm about to put it where it goes because I am the king of Pro Stitcher universe, and you're going to do what I tell you. So I'm going to go up to my modify tab. I'm going to go to reposition in the ribbon, and because they digitized it with that 0, 0 point in the digitizing, I'm going to come over here on my sidebar and I'm going to hit the 0 button. I'll hit my bottom house refresh, and you're going to see that this design is perfectly centered right there where it needs to be. I'm gonna run a check. So I'm gonna move my machine all the way away from me. And as long as, let me scroll in, there we are. As long as our horizontal orange line on our screen can go higher than our design on our screen, we know we're not going to hit the back bar. We're in the clear. I'm going to bring my machine towards me, and I'm going to do the same thing. This horizontal orange line can get under my design. That means I'm in the clear, and now I just have to go to Pro Stitcher and run. I'm going to run this. I'll set you up so you can watch, and we'll see you when it's done. There are a few jumps. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 jumps. Not too bad with how much detail is in this design. Again, I am super excited for this design because I think this is going to look fabulous in the end. It already looks great on screen. It's going to look great on this panel as well. So I will see you when it's done stitching. All right, so row 1 is done. Everything has been stitched. We will look down and do a little pan. And lighting's okay, but it could be better. But there, row 1 is done. So what we're gonna do is we're going to line up our other 3 rows. So I'm gonna take my needle back to my center mark, my red dot, and I will get to the screen after I do that. But I'm gonna put my laser light right on my dot. I can't really see it because I don't have my lights on, so I've got to turn my lights on really quick. There we are. I could have done this before, oops. I could have done this before I stitched out that first row, but I'm like, whatever, I didn't. So I have placement, I have everything good. I'm gonna go open rows 1, 2, 4, and 5. So here's row 1, file, design, open. I forgot I had them there. So there's row 2. So orange, blue, file, design, open, green, and purple. File, design, open, purple. So now I have them all. I need to line them up because obviously they're not in the right spot. So I'm gonna go to my modify tab, reposition, and over on the sidebar, I'm gonna hit 0. So that's row 5. It lined itself up. In this case, I'm not gonna try to touch the screen because I have a lot of stuff here. So I'm not gonna pick my design right here. I'm gonna come to my workspace tab. I'm gonna pick row 4. And then I can come back over here to my sidebar reposition tab. Because reposition is selected, I have a sidebar tab for that, and hit 0. And I'm gonna come back to workspace, and I'm gonna pick up 1, reposition, 0, workspace 2, 2, reposition 0. And now I have my full design ready to stitch. Now I'm gonna look at, let's see, if I bring my machine all the way up, not gonna be able to fit that one in. If I bring my machine all the way down, let's check out row 4. No, I can't fit that one either. I was hopeful, whatever. So I'm gonna have to advance this. I'm not gonna baseline them together. I don't want the whole thing to stick together. I wanna be able to stitch row by row, but I do wanna move everything. So what I'm gonna do is over here on the bottom left side of our screen, oh, I moved forward, sorry. Over here on the bottom left side of the screen, you have this arrow with a square. I'm gonna tap that. That is select all. I'll see over here I have a group. I'm not gonna baseline it. I'm not gonna combine and merge that group. I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm going to find somewhere near the bottom of my design, maybe about here, because I'm gonna roll up and stitch the bottom, and then I'll come back and stitch the top. So this is near the bottom of that design, and I'm gonna come back one more time and hit row 4, because I need to see the top. See how this one kind of nests in there? I'm glad I checked this, because if I moved this up to my bar, I would hit this design. So I actually have to come up a little bit, because I want to make sure my orange line is higher than the highest point of that row. Perfect. I'm going to hit needle down. I'm going to select all, and then over, I'm going to tap drag, make sure it says green or turns green and says drop. Now I'm going to undo my side clamps and advance. All right, so I've advanced up. You can see that my design is off the screen. That's fine. I can always hit my bottom house refresh to bring it back into view. I've advanced, my side clamps are on. I'm in a spot where I can stitch that next row. I'm gonna hit drop. And now needle up, very important. You'll notice I did do the needle down drag and drop. I didn't do my normal when I edge to edge drag and drop, because I need that needle down. The needle down is gonna be much more precise than any of the other types. So I'm gonna check a few things. If we look at this design, you'll see that it has a circle. I thought the circle was gonna come in and touch everywhere. It doesn't. I thought we were gonna have to connect it. It gets connected with this design, which is stitched. When I come back to row 3 or row 4, it's actually stitched in right here. Genius. Thank you, Pro Stitcher Patterns, because that is genius design there, where we don't have to worry about when that's getting quilted and how it's getting quilted. That's just making our lives easier. Also, I can bring my machine all the way towards me, and I can get under that design. Oops, you can't see. When I bring my design all the way towards me, like I have a lot of space, so I'm gonna be able to do row 4 and row 5, and then I can advance up and do row 1 and row 2. So I'm gonna go ahead, over here, this is select multiple, the middle one. I'm going to turn it green. Over on my right side, let me zoom out, oops, there we are. Over in my workspace tab, I wanna stitch row 4 and row 5. So I've picked both of those. I come back, I turn this off, because this will be the bane of your existence if you forget. Baseline, and now I can stitch these out. I will leave you to watch. All right, so there's 1/2 of it done. I think it is stellar stunning. I need to take some of these basting stitches out still, but oh, I am loving this. I really think, I know it's not made for this panel, but I think it looks fantastic on this panel. I love how the circle is kind of coming through on this outside. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Let me turn you back over here just so you can see. I'm not gonna record the rest because then you're gonna be seeing everything just over again. But what I'm gonna do is bottom house refresh, and can you see my screen? Let's zoom up here. So now I have the top that I need to do. I'm gonna move my machine all the way to the back. Let's see, I'm gonna select all, come to the center. I'm gonna move you over and you're gonna probably get out of the screen really quick. I'm gonna go all the way to the back. I'm probably gonna have to advance this twice because I'm gonna bring it down and then bring it down that extra bit because I just need to do these final 2 rows, row 1 and row 2. So I need to be just under this because then I know both of those rows are gonna fit. So I'm all the way back as far as I can go. Select all, needle down, drag. And now I'm going to advance this. One thing to note when I, with my batting and everything, when I basted this whole cloth on, I trimmed this batting off. So now I'm really easily gonna be able to roll it back and not have all that bulk of the extra batting. So I'm taking my side clamps off. Oh, can you see how that looks? It looks so good. In the right lighting, it's gonna look spectacular. $150, I'm gonna sell it. Do you wanna buy it? $150. So now we're all the way back up to the front. I gotta move my light. I had to move the light so I can get in. So now I'm all the way back up to the front. As you can see, it's moved on my screen. I shut that off. Oops. I'm gonna hit, I haven't put my side clamps on. I'm okay with that. At this point, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna advance it more anyway. So I'm gonna hit drop, needle up. I'm gonna come over here and hit row 2 because I need to see where I need to be. Move my machine so my horizontal line is right under row 2. I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. So my horizontal line is right under where row 2 is gonna stitch. I'm going to hit needle down again, and I'm gonna hit drag. And now this is kind of like I just double advance. Let me zoom out, we'll tilt you down. I didn't tighten anything, I didn't do any of that. I did tighten my top, I didn't put my side clamps on. So now I can continue to advance this. There we are. I know that I've advanced far enough because I can see the top of my quilt in the back where I loaded it. So I'm gonna put my side clamps on. And now I can hit, uh-oh, look, I forgot to move all the stuff together. Let's fix this. Oh no. Well, happy accident it is, okay? So what I'm gonna do, let's see. I am going to hit drop. So now row 2 is perfect. Can you even see my screen? All right, so let me get you up on my screen. Because now we're gonna have to like drag and drop like normal. So row 2 is what I moved. I forgot to select all whenever I picked up the second thing. So over here, I'm gonna hit select multiple and I'm gonna hit select none. I don't want anything selected. I'm gonna pick select multiple. I gotta switch sides, sorry. And I'm gonna pick up everything that is not row 2. So I should have everything except for row 2 selected. I'll turn this off. I don't want to pick row 2 up on accident. And now I am going to bring everything down. I can look, my needle's still down, so let's bring my needle up. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to turn on my lights. I have to be able to see these stitches. I'm gonna put my crosshairs into a specific point. Oops. Into a specific point on my quilt. So like here. So this is the point I chose is this one right here, this start point. So what I want to do is I'm going to use my reposition nudge. So modify, reposition. I'm going to use my nudge, and I want to nudge it down until that point is at my crosshairs. I'm moving everything except row 2. I know I'm in the right point. I actually need to be over a little bit. There we are. So I'm using an actual spot on my quilt to move this. I didn't put my needle down. You could if you didn't want your machine to move, or if your machine's just a little bit not level. And this should fit everything back to where it's supposed to. I could use reposition center, but my center is rolled up onto the bar, so I can't actually get to that dot. Oh, I went one too far. So there we are. If I zoom out, there we are. There we have it. I can zoom into pieces to make sure that nothing's touching. That's one of the joys of this design, is things don't really touch unless they were created together. So right here, see how it's off a little bit? I might shift that, shift the design to the right a little bit, because I don't want to stitch onto those feathers. Let's see. There we are. There we go. And what do my crosshairs look like? Let's see. Good. There we have it. So now I'm going to pick up row 1, hit select multiple, workspace, pick up row 2, turn this off, baseline those two together, and we will stitch these 2 rows out. Again, I'm not going to record this because you've already watched it stitch, so we'll see when it's done. Oh my gosh, we did it. We finished it. I finished it last night, and then it was late, so I went to bed, and now I've showered and I've unloaded and trimmed and done all that stuff, but we finished it. I love this pattern. Again, I think the gals over at Pro Stitcher Patterns did a fantastic job. I hope you can see the detail. I'll post pictures. I took it out and stuck it on my driveway to get some pictures early this morning, which is why there wasn't an ending video with it on the frame, because I wanted to get that morning sun. But look at this. I love the circular detail and how it actually fits on this Dream Big panel. Remember, this was not digitized for this. This was just digitized for a whole cloth quilt. This is a 40 by 40 pattern. I could have made it a little bigger. I knew that would fit in my throat still, so you'd have to take into account how big your throat space is. But I could have, made it 2 inches bigger so it was closer to the edges. But I'm just going to throw a facing on this at some point in my life, probably not anytime soon, and I might just serge the edges, let's be honest. But this is it. I think it looks fabulous. Remember, it's called the Intermingled, I think it's just called Intermingled Wholecloth. I will post a link in the description below, so go check it out. If you're shopping at Pro Stitcher Patterns, which is prostitcher.com, remember, use code ASF10. Just always put it in. Who knows what it's going to work on, but I at least know it's going to work on the digital patterns. If you're a member,